Our houses
Well,
come in,
That's,
that's the same way, right?
yeah. I mean, it's individual things. Some people really want to blast. If you really are that upset and you really want to express your anger, express it. Don't threaten anybody. But on the other hand, in general, you're only going to be talking to some secretary.
But I mean, in the letters they send.
Oh, yeah.
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 You can write
Oh,
it
yeah.
just like they send them to.
Exactly. The tone can be anything that you're comfortable with. Yeah. Any questions so far?
Any updates on that eminent domain, the lawyers that?
It's in court, goes to court next week, but I don't think they're going to resolve anything. I don't think there's going to be any resolution on whether they have the authority to do eminent domain before the summertime. Sometime in the summer, last time I talked to the eminent domain attorney. But we'll have more information on that at the next meeting. Bruce?
George, locally, I think when you have the time to write a letter, I would like for people, and I'm going to do it myself, to write a letter to our two leaders on the Will County Board. This last Farm Bureau paper, the minutes from the county board meeting were in there, and you have Larry Walsh and Jim Eustace really excited about Governor Quinn throwing $100 million in land purchase. I forget what the dollar number was for the study for the Illinois Expressway. But to me, we all know what the financial condition of the state of Illinois is. I mean, this is like somebody encouraging an alcoholic to drink another fifth of whiskey. I mean, it is. Or someone getting beat up on the street and everybody's applauding the guy beating the guy to death. It just is out of control and it doesn't make sense. And to me, it just aggravating when I read that about these two gentlemen in a leadership position in our county applauding somebody throwing money at this project when they know the state is already broke.
I absolutely agree. I had a letter to the editor recently within the last 3 weeks in the Joliet paper, Kankakee Journal, Russell, saying that Executive Larry Walsh should be ashamed of himself for bowing to the unions on this, and that Quinn should be ashamed of himself. I think that they need pressure, and they need to know that people are upset. And that's good that they need to hear that. But right now, as far as effectiveness and actually stopping this thing, is we need to mainly focus on Madigan and Cullerton.
Okay.
So if you know anybody, else besides yourself, have them write a letter, and we'll get as many letters in there as we can. Any other questions, comments, observations?
George,
Yeah.
I'd like to tell these people what's really going on. George is right 100%, but it's worse than he says even. The Will County Board is applauding this $210 million loan because they want the airport. And they're controlling what's going on. And they're not for us, they're for against us. They want this airport. And what other people don't realize, if this airport does come in, the flight paths are going to be over the Beecher School. Now, I just went to Beecher Schools 2 days ago and talked to them. They had no idea that they thought the airport was dead. Beecher does not know what's going on. And they were appalled when I gave them these papers that showed that they're going to borrow money to get the land, and this group that's financing this has got the okay from the FAA. They were absolutely appalled. They couldn't believe it. And there's 5 schools in Beecher with almost 1,000 kids that are going to be poisoned because people don't know about the new jet engines. The new jet engines are way more toxic than the old ones. They're up to 32% efficient. The rest of it is toxic waste. And they're 25,000 horsepower apiece. You can't imagine the toxic waste that's going to go and ruin these children's lives. And if we bring out the fact that this airport is going to kill children, then we might get some notice. They don't care about us. They don't care about killing people. But you start telling them they're going to kill children, now you're going to get the attention of the people. And I think this is what we got to do. This buying this land is getting the backup of all the politics. There's 200 people on this deal with the group that got the okay from the airports. Companies and railroads and cities are backing this airport. And they're putting money into this group. And people, they're not telling anybody anything about this airport. People in Beecher don't know, they think it's all gone, they don't even know nothing about it. And they don't know what's going on, and that's what's happening. The papers are not putting a thing in here, and a couple of friends of mine are gonna try and put in the paper. Now, they threaten me with death if I said anything, so I can't say anything anymore. But I just can't see these kids in Beecher getting killed by these jet engines. It makes me, it's a communist world. This is not a public, it's just absolutely terrible. And nobody cares. And now I've been to all the Beecher schools and they know what's going on now.
I think part of the problem, George says this at all our meetings, and so I think the problem is people have become apathetic to it because it's been going on since Wendell was in high school. And so people do, and like George says, I've got something that says planes would be flying in '96, he said 2000. This continues. They say that they create these aviation employment studies that the FAA approves, saying it's all speculative. So it is difficult to keep the average person involved in something like this when they're living their everyday lives. If the politicians who are in would have their way, they may build it. I mean, they've been telling us they build it for so many years. Now they're saying they may build it again, or they want to build it again. So the thing is that we really need to make sure that they don't do it. And people involved here and at home need to become involved and write the letters like George says. We need to put the pressure on to get people, you know, you're sitting in your house, write a letter. Write a letter, make a phone call, do that information. If you have email, we can go ahead and fax and email you, or we can fax or mail something to you if you want contact information. You just have to call one of our numbers or contact us through the STAN website, which isn't updated as much as we like, but at least you can get to us from it, because people are living in their little houses. They're not always watching the news. They're not always reading the papers. So it's really up to us in this room, people watching it at home, to get the word out, write letters, and keep it going. The hard thing is, it's been going on for a very long time. So you have to regenerate yourself every year.
George, do you have any medical statistics?
Pardon?
I said, do you have any medical
Yes, I
statistics?
have, and I'll
that
get you a next meeting, I'll bring in medical. I've got a complete list of what the toxic waste does to people, and I like to pass them out, but I didn't get a chance to print them up.
Right, there was a study done in Germany, which is very condemning of airports and the pollution it creates. There's been a lot of research. What I'd like to do is get someone to help Ken in keeping the website updated and have some links on there to some of these other sites. The people around O'Hare, what's that guy's name? Joe's, forget his name. He's been, fighting O'Hare expansion. They have gathered a lot of information, which applies to us as well as applies to Saporito, Joe Saporito. And so we're going to put some links on there so people can get this information. I mean, I understand George's frustration. I mean, people don't realize the impact, just on the pollution part of it, that it'll have on people. Years ago, I gave up emphasizing the pollution impact because people just kind of glazed over. And I found that if you emphasize that the money is going to cost us, that it's going to raise taxes, that the infrastructure is going to cost a lot of money to build around the airport, that people are paying more attention to their pocketbook, to their health of their children, and something that may appear theoretical to them. Something's going to happen. Oh, maybe it won't. Maybe it won't.
Where's the EPA on this? I mean, what was
They've been.
Are they wishy-washy sitting on the fence? Where are they?
They've been undercut tremendously over the years, and they don't do anything. They
almost like they're on the job out of the country.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, Judy, you want got something to talk about?
Yeah, I got a couple things. A couple weeks before George went to Springfield, I went to Springfield with Will County Farm Bureau. I do that, this is my second time now. Will County Farm Bureau goes every year to Springfield, talks to all the elected officials at the state level who represent people in Will County. And Mark Schneiderwin, who is the project manager for the Farm Bureau, has been very good every time going out there and letting them know what's going on with the airport and asking them to give us a hand. So it is a way for us to go out there, especially since new people get elected in an area, say that's out in western Illinois, western Will County, they don't know anything about the airport, so we update them all along. I know that when I went, we spoke with AJ Wilhelmy. As we were leaving, we briefly spoke, because you are in a real short time budget, time frame that you can visit with each one of these representatives. And he did say that a lot of things were going on with the airport. And I've asked Mark, who was meeting with him this week, to discuss that. I haven't heard back from Mark. So what exactly, there are a lot of things going on. I think one of the things is Will County is really concerned that Jackson might get our district. They don't want that to happen. So I'm thinking that it's a positive in the sense that Will County doesn't want it. They have influence in whoever designs the congressional maps.